Hello everybody, welcome. How you doing? It's John Lemcool. Boy, have we got a lot to do today. My goodness, let me see. How much closer can I get this? That's better. So much to show you. We have had an amazing week here. Let's tune down just a little bit more. I hope you all are doing well, staying safe. Let me see if the live stream is showing up. We are showing up. Yay. Welcome to all of you. My goodness, I see lots of happy faces already in the chat. Greetings all. It's good to see you from... I love how you guys all say where you're from now. Hello, Norway, Germany, Gouda. Hello, Music Recording Network. Good to see you, dude. Oh my gosh. So this has been an incredible week. We all have to give a mad shout out at the very start to Shane. He has pulled out some amazing rabbits from a hat. Let's see if I have an old picture of what UNIFY's MIDIBox looked like just a week ago, even, right? Hello, all you guys. Oh, you guys are... Hello, Patrick from Germany. The wood carver is here. Mike Smith. Michael White. Sci-fi art man. I love that. You guys are awesome. Well, let's just say I don't have a picture to show you, but look at this. This is MIDIBox. And here, we got to go over here to OBS. And I have a button I can push it, go to the zoom in version. Look at this. Is that beautiful or what? We have play buttons. We have speed knobs. We have velocity knobs. So you can now modify in real time MIDI files like you wouldn't. It's so fun. Speed goes up to 500%. So you can do insane things. So not only and you double click, it'll go back to 100%. Not only that, but we still have fractional. So you still can do weird off time things and then speed everybody up together, because one of the big things beyond adding all this, I asked Shane to do this. We have an include exclude. So you have a map of a drum groove. You can say include just this range, or if in the middle, normally it's kick, snare, hi-hats. Snares are in the middle. With the exclude option, you can set it to where the hi-hat range is and say exclude, and it'll keep the kick and the hi-hat. So you don't have to make 3 MIDI file layers to do separation of things if you want. So cool. The things that this can do is just nuts. Truly, truly nuts. The other thing that's really cool, and I'll show you later an example, but it's keeping track of time. So if you're at like this, and all of a sudden you say 100% and go back, it's locked right to where it's supposed to be in time. It's just super cool. Let's see, let's get a little bit more light there. Super powerful. The other thing is that when you go to the knobs now, check this out. We go over here, we say linked parameters. Let's go to an instrument like this shaker that has a MIDI effect, MIDIBox, boom. All of those parameters, the velocity offsets, the numerator, the denominator, the what's called the speed multiplier, velocity scale, velocity offset, are all there to assign to macro knobs. And it just opens up all sorts of really interesting doors, as I will be showing you as we go. So we are really close on 1.1. I'm really happy to say it's been very stable for me. We're going to get it to our small team of testers to test and torture it for a handful of days and see where we're at. But I'm hoping we're close. I'm hoping we're really close. And there's so much that we can do. Patrick, so you're saying, I really wish this MIDI thing is easy to use so I could just open a MIDI file and play it up and down. you can do that. You have to do a little setup if you want to. I mean, here's the thing. So init, let's say we go to piano, UNIFY. I'm not going to even load a patch. I'm just going to say I want the piano, and I want to have a UNIFY MIDIBox. And I choose the library that I want to choose from. Let's say Cloud City. And I have all sorts of things set up, MIDIs and melodies here, where you could say, these are melody things timing wise. So let's just say this one. And all you do is hit the transpose MIDI notes, and wherever you play on the keyboard, it's now transposing. That's all you have to do is load it and hit this button. And whatever that MIDI file is, cool timing. If it's playing melodies and stuff, it gets more complicated. Here, if we go to something like this, here's the strings, right? Or actually, let's go to the guitar, because it's got pitch bend and I can pitch bend and everything, right? So it's immediately ready to be loaded and played and transposed. It gets more exciting with UNIFY because we can do more with MIDI files than anybody has ever done before, as far as I know. Let's take this example. Let me go back to this view. If we want, we could take this MIDIBox. Let's go down here and say copy settings, zoom out. I did. Let's see, go like that. I'm going to get rid of MIDIBox here, and instead I'm going to inject it into an empty, oh wait, I want to not do that. I want to say new empty MIDI effect. I don't have MIDIBox set up as a MIDI effect preset. It's very easy to go over here and say MIDIBox. Since I had those parameters and I copied them, all I have to do is go operations, paste, and it will reset this all up with that setting. And all I have to do is go here and say connect to that, and so this is the same as I had when I had it loaded here. But now that it's up here, I can do a really cool trick where I go set this to MIDI channel 1. And before MIDIBox, let's see, how do we want to do this? MIDIBox is spitting out notes, and then it goes into Polybox. So we say Polybox, and let's set it to 8. So this is doing the triggering of notes. Polybox is now going to take each note that I play, and I'm going to go over here and say, give me 7 more. And just like that, I now, oh, what did I do wrong? It's supposed to be playing chords. Oh, I have to probably put Polybox here, right? Oh, no, I know the trick. I know the trick. I forgot. So init and hold down Option. I need to put MIDIBox back down here. I forgot. MIDIBox is playing per layer. And so let's go over here and say paste those settings back in. Sorry. So Polybox is distributing to this layer, and then I say give me 7 more, and now Polybox will split each of these. They each have their own MIDIBox. And it's slamming really loud. But I now am playing that MIDI file with polyphony. So cool. So wherever you play, you can now play a MIDI file and play chords. Instead of just being one note you hold down like Dune 3 and Dune 2. A number of other synthesizers have played MIDI files, but it's only been one note and then just plays whatever it does. And you can make it big chords and make it really impressive. Here you can make it a single note, and now you can play chords. Right? So it's super easy to use. It's just you got to know a few things about the flexibility you have with UNIFY. This is something unique only to UNIFY. Nobody else can do this with MIDI files playback to get them to be polyphonic. That's thanks to Polybox. It's the same concept that lets us take a monophonic synth and make it polyphonic. It can do the same thing for MIDI files too. So it's really, really fun that we can do that kind of stuff. Yeah, hocketing effects and all that kind of stuff. No dragging required. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. I have so much to show you guys today. I was contacted this week by a number of people that have new products that they would like to have me mention in the show. I want to point out one thing, because I've had a couple of people write to me about this. When I show something in these live streams, that is not an automatic endorsement that you should buy it. You should know about it, do research, and if it's something that looks like it will work for you, then buy it. But just because I say something doesn't mean that it's the best of something. I like to show quality things, and most things you see here, I make sure I've vetted it so that it's at least a trustworthy product. But I don't, by showing you what it is, that doesn't mean to go buy it. And if you're not impressed and not happy with it, it's up to you to make those decisions. It's your money, right? So me sharing this information isn't an automatic boom. I'm not giving it like some synthesizer computer magazine gold seal that it's the best by talking about it here. A lot of things are brand new. I played with them a little bit. I might not even have time to super dive into something, but I'm letting you know about it, that it exists. So don't take this as this gold. I've had that happen a couple times. People write back and say, hey, you talked about this and I went and bought it and I'm not really sure it's what I want. And it's don't just automatically buy something just because someone on a YouTube video says something. I'm giving you information, and it's up to you to take that information and decide if it's right for you, for your music, for your productions, all that kind of stuff, okay? So, sci-fi art, but that's... Yes, so I don't know. Let's start here. There's so much. First, I want to mention that this video is sponsored by my humble little website, pluginguru.com. Please come here to buy libraries. I started a sale last night, and it's one of the bigger sales of the year. I should tell you about it. It's called the Labor Day Weekend Multi-Buy, or this is Memorial Day. This is Memorial Day. Memorial Day Weekend Multi-Buy Sale. What that means is you buy one library and it's 20% off. If you add 2 libraries to your cart, it's 30% off. If you add 3 libraries to your cart, it's 40% off. And if you want to buy 4 libraries or more, the whole cart is 50% off. It's one of the few times in the year where I will give you a 50% discount. This includes if you buy all 4 libraries, you can get Melodic Techno for 50% off. It's the only UNIFY product that's on sale. UNIFY itself is not on sale. It's immune from all these promotion things for patch libraries. I will say this though, bundles are on sale. So you can get some bundles that are really expensive to some really reasonable prices if you do this right. So it's one of those times of the year where I let that happen through Monday night. So if you want some new libraries, there's 80 libraries for all sorts of synthesizers. So please support the Plugin Guru adventure. Your support is very much appreciated, and it's a cool chance. I love our situation. It's a win-win. You guys get patches to give you inspiration, and I get to keep doing what I love to do, which is this. So it's the best of both worlds. All right, so I'm going to show you something pretty mind-blowing. And on top of that, this is going to be a free download that if you own UNIFY and you own the BBC Discover library, this is a free, crazy. Let's do this. Let me compress this. And this is going to go right here. I'm going to go to Dropbox. I'm going to go to my little Plugin Guru freebies folder. And we're going to put this into the Plugin Guru freebies folder. And all I have to do is right click and say, get the Dropbox link and go over here. This is the link to something that is super cool. So I have talked about last week, if we go to live stream, here we go, BBC Orchestra. There's a weird bug. Oh, it didn't do it that time. Interesting. Sometimes the menu is hidden. You can't see it. Command W will close the window, and if you hit the little expand compress button, that will make the window show up. This is, so Spitfire has all sorts of free things. If you don't know about Spitfire Labs, that's where like one of the most famous soft Velt piano is for free, stuff like that. But they have this really cool, all the patches that are available are shown here in front of you. Just by clicking somewhere, you can go from the violins to the cellos. Right? Or the violas. They have long spiccato. They have pizzicato and tremolo. And they're key windowed, as you can see. They go to a certain range and they stop. Most sample libraries do this. So the tips I'm going to show you in this first part, you can apply to any orchestra library you own that does this. UNIFY can load multiple layers, right? So what if we took all of these layers of the strings and we put them together in a single patch? And here it is. And it's part of the free download. So you can... Oh wait, that's the full orchestra. Here's just the strings. So we'll get there. This is all 5 layers of the BBC Orchestra. You have expression, which will control the volume of all 5. Every one of these has a reverb parameters. You can see right here, this is the reverb. And if I resize this for a brief moment, when I move this reverb knob in UNIFY, it changes the reverb amount inside of all 5 plugins all at once. So I can more reverb. It's amazing. Now, the thing that's really amazing is that this whole orchestra is like 200 megabytes in size. They kind of took the concept of a workstation, like we do at Korg and other companies do, where you shorten, you have fairly short samples. If we were to go just to the they're looped fairly short. In a mix, you won't hear it unless you're doing like really soft passages. Now, I will tell you the bigger libraries that Spitfire creates has all sorts of variations of articulations. Not just like, this is more the grandiose. But totally usable and beautiful. You have sliders for all the volumes, so you can... You want just the violas, the violins, and the cellos? You can automate that with your sequencer to change the volumes all you want of all the parts. Now, inside of the BBC Orchestra, there is also 5 brass. So, pushing a button here and you immediately load up the tuba, bass trombone, tenor trombone, French horns, and trumpets. And with UNIFY, okay, woodwinds, same things. They have bassoon, clarinet, oboes, flutes, and piccolo, or all 5 together. Okay, now the crazy thing with UNIFY with 1.1 is we could take one of these by holding down Shift, click another one, and add it as a UNIFY. And let's add the woodwinds. So that fast, I have loaded 15 plugins of the BBC Orchestra. Just like that. It's insane. The full orchestra, I have it optimized where instead of the volumes controlling the separate instruments, it's now per section. So you can play the whole orchestra. Then you go to these and control. Turn down the strings, that's just the brass. To the woodwinds. And then there's a story for the grand piano inside of UNIFY. It's called the Church Steinway because it's part of the piano book series that Christian Hinson and Spitfire have created of just tons of instruments created by people around the world and sent and put and stuff like that. So yes, these are UNIFY patches and they're free for you if you own UNIFY and you own the BBC Orchestra. The link I provided will let you download these 5. I'm doing a whole library that will be coming out after Cloud City for the BBC Orchestra with 128 patches. And I'll show you in a minute why I'm really excited for that. But so this piano is called Church Steinway. I wrote to Christian Hinson first and said, Christian, is it okay with you if I talk to the original creator of that piano and look at licensing that piano for UNIFY? He said, that would be great. We'd love to support you. That's great. So I contacted the original person that created the piano and licensed it. Gave him a licensing fee. We have an agreement. And so now this is the Spitfire piano book piano playing with the BBC Orchestra for the whole... And again, you have separate control. You want just the brass. So you can do unbelievable sounding orchestral pieces for UNIFY and BBC. It's like $79 and $50, $129, and you have the best sounding ensemble string set that you can play live that I can think of. Okay? So it's pretty insane. Where do we buy this? Let me give you the link. It's at the, not going to tell you. You have to find it yourself. Spitfire BBC Orchestra, spitfireaudio.com. And it's called the Discover Orchestra. It's actually set so that you can add it to your cart for $49, or they have a form you can fill out and they'll give you a 2-week window that you need to wait, and then you get the library for free, because that's just the way that these guys work. They're really cool with that kind of stuff. They know everybody doesn't have money right now, and so that is an opportunity to get it for free. Just go to spitfireaudio.com, and let me show you a couple of things I'm working on for the full library. It's called DiscoverStation. So of course, all the spiccato with all the sections. That is going to be, these are all part of the library. I showed you these guys. Here's like the, there's going to be synth things because I have all the samples inside of UNIFY, right? So you can go like this. Oh, this is the wrong way. I need to go this one. There's going to be all sorts of crazy synth string combinations. But what I'm really excited about, I did this last night at like 1:30 in the morning. This is using MIDI files and MIDIBox. And there will be all sorts of examples of this. I'm not known for my film scoring, but I have done film scoring a little bit. I know the basics of the voicing and so forth. And so this shows off a couple really cool things. This shows off, to start with, playing one note. Let's go over here to where you see the keyboard. I'm going to play one note. So I have this nice passage just happening with one finger. Then up high is French horns to trumpets. And I have a so you can hear how the sounds work together, because not only is there the strings, but there's also a celeste, harp, so those are MIDI files. There's drums. If we go over here to MIDIBox and say play part 2. Got snare. This is the modifying velocity of the MIDI file. So if I put this in the middle, check this out. Because of UNIFY's modulation sources, I actually have to go into the brass ensemble to look. We actually have knob assignments of UNIFY's layers when they're in a UNIFY effect. They each can have their own knob assignments. So even though there's only 8 knob assignments on the top, everything that says UNIFY can be its own set of knob assignments to that as well. So inside of the horns, I have between the French horns and the trumpets doing this really cool mix where it's, let's see, do I have a solo on somewhere or something? Why aren't you playing? Oh, I probably have the volume down here. When I have it all the way down, I want it to go away so you can have it go away. But right in here in the middle, you get both. And then I have it so you go over here, just trumpets, and then it goes away. And the reason it goes away is that I wanted it so that as you're playing this, I guess it doesn't need to go away because it's a solo part, right? But check this out. Some of the other things that are cool in here is that these MIDI files for the strings and all this stuff, they're all tied to a knob controlling the speed multiplier, and it will take it up to 400% speed. Let's double click and say 400. You can say absolute values. So here's 100%. Let's speed it up to 400%. Notice the drums are not speeding up. They're still playing at, because I don't have a speed multiplier assigned to that MIDI file. So every MIDI file can have separate right? It's just crazy. And then we also have the ability to turn loop mode on and off. So I can set it to 400% and set it to one shot. And now I have these really cool orchestra one-shot sample. It sounds like a sample, but these are MIDI files playing patches. And I can slow it down if I want to be slower. So there's all sorts of new places to play with all of your plugins and music. It's really fun. It also transposes the whole thing so you can have it playing. Gotta remember key them in. So, this library will come out after Cloud City. I have a lot of ideas to implement this, but there's so much stuff to play with because the library comes with all these instruments. I love how UNIFY is something that can make things better. It can do more with things than just let you just play one of. I mean, to do this in your DAW would take a massive amount of work, and then you just sit there and you stare at it, and that's all you can do. Here you're interacting, you're playing with it. I can say, oh, I don't want the, I think I have, where's the strings? I can have just the harp and celeste. So, that is pretty darn handy. All right, are you guys impressed? I hope you're impressed. I was like so excited with what this is doing in the store. I mean, can we record these and sell the music? Yes, absolutely. Whatever I've created content-wise for these things is, yeah, cool. UNIFY looks stable if I remember the last live stream. Yes, okay, good, good. Just bought it. Okay, good. Mighty impressed. Good. You guys are saying good things. I'm happy. So there's one more thing to show you, and this is tied with a really another fun goodie for you all. Many of you guys like Valhalla, are familiar with Valhalla because they have, without doubt, in software format, probably their reverbs are amazing. Their delay, the guy that makes their plugins is great. Well, he has released something new called Supermassive. And it is an interesting, so make sure you notice, Shimmer Verb is a must own by everybody. All of his effects are $50 each. It's really cool. It's a similar model we're going to be probably looking at for what we're doing. But this is an insane free effect. I mean, let's give you some examples, but Valhalla, VALHALLADSP.com. Here, I'll put the link into our chat. Supermassive this is one I can definitely say I endorse because it is, UNIFY is quiet. Okay. I will turn up UNIFY a little bit louder. Turn my voice down a little bit, turn UNIFY up. So let's do this. Let's go to a synth sound to start with. So we'll go to the standard library synth. And let's say something like, That should be fun to play with. And let's put Valhalla audio effects. Actually, I didn't put it there, so I got to go Valhalla. Here we go, Supermassive. So this is an interesting delay hybrid to reverb. So you can bring the delay down, bring up warp, bring up feedback, bring up density, and you have this hybrid but it keeps a lot of the character, which is really nice. There's mod controls for having, you can have like, right? EQ. And then there's all these different modes that do different delay algorithms that are really cool. Because right here you can choose between milliseconds. You can hit clear to stop it if it's like going forever, or you can choose different timing values. And what's cool with his timing values, I love how this is done because you can change and it just, there's no triplets or dotteds in the changing from one timing value to another. It's straight from slow to fast. Whereas if you go dotted, now you're in dotted territory. It doesn't combine those all like most delays do into one knob. So you can go from it keeps going and you're not doing all of a sudden it's in triplet weird timing feel and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. But each one of these Annihilator is really cool. What's also cool, I expect to hear in a lot of music, just using the warp. Boom, boom. Big, do your breakdowns and start. So it's really cool. And I'll show you a cool example of how we used it. Actually, Shane did this. Shout out to Shane. He did, let's see, let's clear this. This is using the Valhalla effect. Here's without it. So the strings, I should point out real quickly something that's kind of interesting. UNIFY is able to kind of look under the hood of every plugin. So we could go over here to the BBC plugin and look at all of the parameters that this plugin has. But I will tell you this, not all of these work. Tightness doesn't work. Release on certain sounds works. I think all of this stuff is definitely for the bigger versions of the library where they get to like multiple microphones and different takes and articulations. Variation doesn't work. I was really hoping variation would go between like the longs to the spiccatos to the pizzicatos. It doesn't. So a lot of these don't work, but expression works. Reverb works. That's about it. I think stereo pan works and so forth, but you have access to all these parameters, right? Well, there's not enough here to make it slow or fast. Inside of the plugin interface, there's no envelope controls to take something that's, see how the window's not showing here? This is one of these things with their plugins. You have to click the little expand and compress, and now you have the little close box. We'll look to see if we can solve that, but it's just kind of one of those quirks. But there's no envelope controls. There's no ability to speed it up and slow it down. So Valhalla's Supermassive does a really nice job of turning this into a slower pad. It gives you all this, but it doesn't go bop, bop, bop like a reverb, and it doesn't sound like a reverb. It's got more thickness to it. Here's without it. So put the shimmer massive, super massive. We could even bring up the mix a little higher. So there's not even any drop off. A little more feedback, maybe a different type of an algorithm. See what we get. I mean, I expect you to hear this all over the place. It's so cool. So it's a really cool effect. It's free, so highly recommended, and we used it just as an example. This is a cool example of what you can do with this effect, okay? So a couple other things that came up this week. Let me see, are there any questions I should answer? Aren't there key switches that select slower than fast? Those are the more expensive versions of this library. This is like a workstation, like a Triton or a Korg or a Roland or something. We're calling it a string orchestra. It's just a simple, these are your 4 types. They don't have all the other variations. When you get to their $500 and their $900 libraries, that's when you get all the different variations. They don't include those in the $50 version. Sorry. We'll give you the basics to start with, but if you want to break it out, and you can break it out, the same things I'm showing with this is all you have to do if you wanted to make this yourself, you just load up one of these. Say I wanted to do this with pizzicato, right? So I'm on the violin, so I just go over here and say duplicate, and open up the second one and change it to be, let's say, cellos. And also change it to be pizzicato. So now I have made a layer of pizzicato cellos and violins. And I think the reverb's a little high. Oh, there's no... The one thing about the library, I will say it... Oh, well, I have Supermassive on, of course, so... This reverb you hear, that's the sound, I think, of Air Studios or wherever they recorded these. I think the more expensive library, they have a close-up set of microphones that are much closer. It's kind of like a average orchestra mix version, but you don't have different mixes, variations, or anything with the $50 library. More thumbs up, please. Yes, pass up those thumbs. Key switches work. They start at C2. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't have an 88-note keyboard. I guess with key switches, you can change between these different articulations. I see. Yeah. So you'd play, and it would go between these, I guess. Again, I have just a 5-octave keyboard here, so I don't have that range to play. But if we transpose this down, 24, I believe now, am I? Somewhere there's key switches, I guess. 36. Yeah. So yeah. C, C sharp, D, D sharp will switch between the 4. But you don't, yeah, so you can. With a 5-octave keyboard, you have to transpose down 36 semitones. C Shane, that's why I wanted it to be able to go down to like 60 or minus 48 or whatever we ended up at going to. Yeah, 48. Because there's times where you gotta do it. So, yeah. So, okay, you do have key switches. Could you get MIDIBox to play C minus 2 somehow? Oh, yeah. How many sounds is the BBC version? I think they said 30. You have horns, trumpets, tenor trombones, bass trombones, and tubas. You have the basses, cello, viola, violin 2, violin 1. You have piccolo, flutes, oboes, clarinets, bassoons. Then you have tuned percussion, which is tubular bells. Let's see here. I need to reset these, and so if I hold on. Oh, shit. Tubular bells, marimba. Xylophone for the high range. And then the glockenspiel for, right? They also have tuned percussion, both in timpanis. Like, Mod Wheel does that kind of stuff really nicely. Let's get that stuck to be back up at the max. As well as untuned percussion, which is your drums. There's gong. Ratchet, but they don't have a ratchet snap. I thought for Christmas songs they should have a ratchet snap, but they don't. And then you also have harp plucks. And you have Celeste. So it has an awful lot for $50 to work with. And so, in other words, this demo little thingy that I did with the BPM split playing, that's only playing the strings, brass, winds, some untuned percussion, harp, and Celeste. And one thing that's cool, check this out. The string section, I'm going to talk to Shane. We added this week these really cool little buttons for auditioning. So I'll play the MIDI file. You can see it play. But we also have plus and minus. He surprised me with, because we had just a thing here that said play. And I'm like, oh, we need a cool icon. And so we ended up with an icon plus the plus and minus. I want these to be assignable in the future because I've set this up so that in this folders, I have two different percussion and strings folders. And hopefully we can make we're working on adding knobs and faders and stuff to this in the future. That's one of the next updates we want to be looking at. But check this out. So I can go from, here, let's play it this way. This is one. Here's two. Whoa. Well, do I have something wrong here? Let's see here. Call this back up to make sure it's. Go over here, say number 2. So it's a more fully produced string line. Back to 1. So we will have it in the future where you'll be able to have a folder with, say, 8 different variations of the drums and be able to push a button, and each time you do cycle or call up a specific one. We have all sorts of plans for MIDIBox to have all sorts of these parameters in different variations. And this is just our 1.0 release. I wanted 1.0 to be substantive enough. A lot to work with. I wanted it to cover all the bases. So we have timing with insane timing. We have velocity offset.
Here's some insane timing for you.
Oh,
it's Saturday.
Saturday
sale.
Saturday sale.
Yay.
Hi, Melanie.
Hi, guys.
My girlfriend, Melanie.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Voila. Enjoy back.
She does it right. Let me tell you guys. I'm a lucky guy. Cheers. Yeah. Yay. That was fun. So, yes. Let me show you another cool example. In the Cloud City Library, I have... Everybody like that, Melanie? Let me see here. One of these BPM pads that I'm working on. Oh, my goodness. I think it's number 4. Yes. So this is getting into some interesting territory. I'm going to show you. This is using MIDIBox and JitterBox. So when I play one note, and it's this one MIDIBox playing this part, I play another note. They each have different timing. What if I told you these were all playing the same quarter note, one note MIDI file? So it's randomly, because JitterBox has these tools to give you random timing in a quarter note and simple notes between 16th notes, 8th notes, or quarter notes for each one of these layers to be different. So I'm playing a chord, hands are off, and it's never the same. Some are fast, sometimes it's slow. Then I have some pads we could bring up. No, somebody just said sounds almost modular. That's the idea. I love modular. I've got a modular system here. I love random, unexpected. Right? And then let's see. I did one of these where I took it. I might have to look. I think it's Touching the Sky, where it's a. So we have a drum groove. And then, oh, this one note. So it's playing this chord with voices. One note, just sitting there playing. So there's so many places we can go with a little bit of randomness. This is just one note and then the chord. All this like filler stuff you hear, that's MIDIBox. And it's never the same. This week I also, just so you know, I wanted some more sub basses for this library. So I went over here and made 5 killer subs. Just huge. No loops. So those are added to the library. So much fun stuff there. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Cloud City because I want to show you when it's done. We're really close on all sorts of stuff, but it's really, really cool. Fun stuff. This is stuff that you're hearing now are coming in Cloud City. Here's some stuff with JitterBox. I'm going to play one note. This is a groove using a whole bunch of different layers. But those little upbeats, those are the snare drum. But JitterBox is randomly timing on this one. right? Speeding up. Hi, Garrett. Yes, we will dive into all sorts of tutorials to explain how you get here, because we're doing some fairly complex thing in some of the things you're hearing. So we have a lot to show you guys and teach you when we get to this part of it, but I don't want to fill your brains with all this stuff right now. We've got more cool things to show you. I have 2 other synthesizer plugins and stuff. Any comments about the 10.5 Logic? I wish I could play it. It's on my MacBook Pro, but I would have to update this computer to work with it. It's a brilliant update. The added features are wonderful. You're seeing the DNA from Redmatica in the sampler, so you can do some really powerful things that EXS24 couldn't. So yeah, already many months behind. Yeah, well, that's because we've been kind of busy with making this stuff. I can't make and teach at the same time sometimes. My brain just doesn't work that way. Anyway, so a couple of other things to show you. I was reached out to this week by a friend of mine with MIDIBox. This is a simple little piano. This is found at this website. It is MIDIBox.com. It is a really interesting felted piano for $20. Simple interface. I'll tell you this, the amazing thing about this is it's got lots of samples across the keyboard. The plugin is 14 megabytes. So what you're hearing, let's turn up the output volume. I don't know why you would make a soft piano and then make the volume not full volume. And you have control over hammer volume. I will tell you this, it doesn't work with the sustain pedal on for the hammer volume. It's also really cool to layer this with the intimate piano that's inside of UNIFY. The reverb inside of the intimate piano works really nicely to... There's another one, if you are, since we're talking Spitfire related things, they have also what is probably one of the more famous felt pianos inside of what they call their labs. If we call up labs, solo this is something that I think Christian recorded like many, many years ago, he said. It has a very nice singing quality to it. Well, MIDIBox piano works very nicely with this, so you could solo the two. And the MIDIBox piano will give you a more clunky, which you could high pass filter if you want. If you combine that with the intimate piano, all three are really great. So for $20, it is definitely a very nice thing to add. It also has a pitch shift, which is something we have inside of Guru Sampler, so you can... That's where it keeps the samples and it transposes what the root note of the samples is while it keeps the samples in their same place. So you can make things get brighter and thinner. Or make it even darker if you go to the minus. It gives it more of a... You hear more felt, it seems. Okay, so Imagerio piano, again, it's vst.imageriomusic.com. I like this, it's nice. And for $20, it seems like a really nice addition. That's a fair price. It does cover a nice range. If you play, even if you transpose down 24 semitones, there's samples down here, which is nice. It's not that it just drops out. So he's actually, I talked to him. He's using the same data compression that we use for the demo version of UNIFY. For those of you that don't own UNIFY but want to try it, go to the pluginguru.com website and there's a free demo version you can download. And it has 42 patches, and you can scan your plugins and load them in and try it out for free. It runs for 15 minutes and it stops, and so you have to stop and reload it. But it lets you try out UNIFY to see how it works if you haven't bought it yet. So I would suggest doing that if you haven't. But that's using a data compression of the same type that he's using to turn this into a 14 megabyte piano. It's probably more like 10 times that in size, like probably... At least. I would think more than that, but... Okay. So that's the Imagerio piano. I have 2 more synths to show you. So we got to keep going. This one I was told about last night. There's a gentleman named Oscar Rizzo. Andreas is his name. Sugar Audio is his company. He has made a thing that I used a lot in the past. I haven't used it lately, called Oscar Rizzo, I believe it's called. Sugar Audio. He has a number of products. He has another. He's kind of new to synthesis. I will tell you this. This is not like a highly polished synth. So don't just immediately buy this, especially until I talk to you about this a little bit. So you know what you're getting into if you get this. But he has the Oscar Rizzo Admiralizer he brought out last year, Filterizer Q, and then the new one is the Sawriser. And it's on sale right now for, I believe, yes, $15. Retail is $30. Again, don't buy it yet. I have to tell you what you're getting into if you get this. It is a unique sounding synthesizer. It sounds nice. I like the sound of this. There's something wrong with the release envelopes. They go back up to 99. You can't have it sustain out. You take your hands off and it comes back up to being loud again. Hear that? There are no presets. There's no saving of presets. There's no loading of presets. So if you are a preset browser type, don't buy this. This is something that you need to sit and program and play and futz with. It's 2 oscillators, oscillator 1, oscillator 2, and a sub-oscillator with a lot of different waveforms. It has an interesting approach on filters and envelopes. There's no filter cutoff per se here. I will tell you this. This is a great example of a synth that is totally made better with UNIFY, because with UNIFY, I can make a patch and save it, and it will save all these presets. So UNIFY becomes the preset browser if I buy this and I was going to be using this. The other thing, if I play sustain pedal, it doesn't work. So I can go over here to the MIDI effects, go to utility, to the MIDI filter, say emulate. That means to act like I have a sustain pedal connected, and oh, I gotta change my envelopes. I have this weird thing set up. It's kind of loud. Let's see here. The amount. So without sustain, with sustain. But it has some cool capabilities. It has wavetables. So as you can see, if you turn down the volumes of the two oscillators and just play one oscillator, see how it's changing through the wave? Let's do zoom in a little bit. So if we go camera, desktop, zoom, that's this one. Then we can say, no, let's make this like that, but not quite like that. So we want to say, zoom in like that. There. So it has unison per each of the two oscillators, and it's a very nice unison. I really like the quality. It has this mix. I'll show you something interesting. Check this out. So, you guys want to know about math a little bit. He has up to 8 times over sampling. So I'm going to play the same 2 notes at one time. Watch my meter here, because in a minute it's going to die. Here's 2 times over sampling. 4. And 8 times. So playing. So that oversampling gives you higher resolution, but as you can see, it will kill your processor. So it's interesting synth. This is something for those of you that are adventurous at heart, that want something to play with. Has chorus, delay, reverb. Like I was going to follow through. If you go to the knobs and you go to the linked parameters, there's actually all sorts of fun stuff in here to play with. Like if you look at the reverb doesn't have a wet dry mix, but they do have right here wet dry mix parameters. So you can connect. This is a perfect example of a plugin that is made, usable because of UNIFY. So, but I just want to make you aware of it. He let me know last night, and I thought it was a cool enough synth to at least mention, but give you the caveat that it's not polished. He's got some work to do to the envelopes and things like that. But it makes some cool sounds. It has up to 11 voices of unison per the 2 oscillators with wavetables that it can go through. There's no LFOs. There's no modulation that I can tell, but you can assign all sorts of things to the knobs. So you could be modulating the sounds that way, just to make you aware of it. So that is available again over here at sugaraudio.com. So go sugaraudio.com, and then it's the Saw Risor synthesizer, okay? So there we go with that. And finally, to look at, my dear friends at Arturia contacted me and set me up. I have the OBX-V that I'm going to show you. This is their take on the Oberheim synth, and we can compare this for a minute with OBX-A, which comes inside of UNIFY included. I like the interface. There's lots of different presets. They have a nice spread parameter. You have the 2 oscillators, the frequency, the envelopes are over here. Vibrato controls, portamento, a nice arpeggiator that's kind of basic, but you do have some other patterns and how many octaves you want it to be and whether you want it random and stuff like that. What's fun is if you click right here, you get to actually really cool, easy to use, click and drag to change curvature, envelopes that can be assigned to all sorts of parameters inside of the synth. And so it definitely goes farther than OBXA goes in that regards. It also has built-in 3 effects, which you have bit crushers and overdrives and phasers and reverbs and compressors, all sorts of stuff. So it's in the Arturia family of giving you and this is with no effects on, so you're just hearing OBXA by itself. I think I can make it bigger. Is the interface able to get bigger? Let's see. MIDI channel, there's a panic, a CPU meter. Okay, you got polyphony. Polyphony goes up to 16. There should be a way to resize the window. Here we go, 120%. There we go, that's better. Yeah, nice and big. You don't need to see the envelopes, do you? Let's say 100%. There, 1, 2, 3. We can have the webcam go off for the time being. Nice. I also talked to my contacts at Arturia because there's been some people that have complained that, you know, if you own Arturia, the V Collection 7, it's no fair, it's not included. It will be coming with the V8, and if you buy it now, they will discount your upgrade cost because you bought this. I don't know the exact numbers, but they're trying to give you something ahead of schedule, basically, because of the situation with this virus and everybody being home. They decided to release this early, make it at a pretty decent price. And if you already own the V collection, to give you a really affordable upgrade path. And then when version 8 comes out, and obviously they're going to have other things in the version 8 update, whatever that will be, your update cost, if you buy this now, will be less than if you didn't buy it now. Okay? So don't complain. When companies do nice things like release cool synthesizers that are done and voiced, but they're not waiting until the whole big collection is done before they bring it out. Thank you, right? And it's really nice. I will tell you that I plan to make a library using just the Arturia V collection because there are so many synthesizers, and their solution, if you don't mind me saying so, is not adequate. They have this thing that they've created. Maybe because UNIFY is out, maybe they will update it and have it do more things in the future. But let's see, Arturia is up here. If you go to the analog lab, it's nice. And you can combine certain instruments and all that kind of stuff. I don't think I've loaded this yet since I updated. Okay, start. 18 cents, no. So you can call up these cool things that will call up a combination. It loads all the presets, but you can't layer split. I think, can you layer and split some? I thought you could some. I haven't studied this a whole lot to see what I'm getting into, but obviously with UNIFY, we can go crazy. What's wonderful and what I think of all the time, and I'm so thankful, when we get back to like the BBC things and stuff, each one of these layers is 64 voices or whatever the polyphony is of that plugin. So it's not one of these cases where, oh, I'm going to layer this and I'm going to layer something else from Analog 4. Now they share polyphony and I only get 8 voices. We don't have to deal with that. Each layer is its own polyphony system, right? So I'll make an art. Just think, all of these synthesizers being used together. How much fun is that? Good Lord, can't wait. So there will be a library coming out in the future for Arturia's plugins because they're really good. There's a ton of variety, and they just go all sorts of cool places that I want to combine together for sure. Let's get back to the OBXA. I'm not going to compare it to our OBX that comes with UNIFY is nice. It's not to this level of quality. Just as far as all the things you can do with this are insane. I mean, I have to tell you, that's a beautiful filter. Right? All right. Let's see what you guys are chatting about. I haven't been here for a while. Oh, you can layer and split. I just don't know. It's not very many times. Oh, those with a small symbol to the right of the name. Okay, let's look at those real quickly. Thank you, guys. Arturia Lab Analogu. I don't know if I want to see that every time on startup. But those, oh, I see. This is the things. Piano strings ensembles, right? Okay, so you have. And that's an awful lot of polyphony, or a lot of CPU being used. That's the one concern I have, is their effects. They're nice. These patches are very nice as you go through here. Here's ARP and lead. So you have. Yeah, not everything's a CPU pig, thank goodness. So yeah, these things that show the little join thing means that there's up to 2. They can only do 2. UNIFY, it's unlimited. So we can do crazy things. So that's what our CPU's like. Nice. Okay, so like maybe some of your customers could send you our favorite patches. Sure. If you guys want to send me your favorite patches that you've created for various Arturia synths, send them to unifysupport@pluginguru.com, and I will start making a collection. In fact, maybe we'll do. I haven't done a lot of these lately, but we're going to do all sorts of, community. I love to do community programming things and stuff like that. So maybe we'll all tackle playing with Arturia plugins for a week and send me the patches that you've created that you like, that you've created, and then we'll put those into the pool. Something like that. There's all sorts of places we can go, Beatles Eternally says sample tank does 16. Combine that with multiple instances of Analog Lab and you need NASA computers to power it. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, Synapse Audio is bringing out an OBXA version. Okay, so Arturia, I don't know why notes are sticking, but it's. Oh, I have the MIDI filter on here. Maybe it doesn't need that. But again, it'll be a fun library. All right, I have one more treat to show you guys. This is stuff coming with UNIFY 1.1. There's a whole lot still to add. I've just been building as we go here, but in the BPM drum category, there's a whole bunch of these. RX drum loops, played by MIDIBox. So it's playing the drum loop. And there's all sorts of these. So if I want, I could go over here. Let's just play them by themselves. Here's Jakarta Breakdown. These are loops that I've made like 20 years ago. Some of these I licensed to Korg for wave drums. Some of the wave drums had jam grooves that you could then play with. So some of these were created by me for that. Again, you can speed up and slow these down. And then what's fun is by holding down either shift or else if I want, I hold down option just to load the layer. Let's say we want to do shift because that way it loads them as UNIFY so they each have their own assignments. So I could say I want to add the Jakarta Breakdown and I want to add Sparse and Jakarta. So you can do this in real time. So you do this with drum loops and it's just nuts. Yes, that's right. I loaded 4 drum loops just like that and I'm jamming. Let's add more. Let's add, did I put Red Hat in here? Red Hat is really cool. So we go like. Yeah! So you can see, you can see what's going on. Make sure that this is shown right. Oh, let's go like this. Turn on. That's right. Insane groove. So all these drum loops will be coming with the bonus update for free to UNIFY. So you can. This will be yours to jam with. And I'll show you. All you have to do, let's say I want to make this a jam that I'm going to jam with, right? Hold down on the top note. Let me make sure that I'm zoomed in so you can see all this is. I'm kind of showing you stuff before you have this, but just so you can come back and watch this video. I'll be making all sorts of support videos showing this type of stuff. But just to give you how simple this is, you right click on the top note, play low C. I'm going to set it so that the MIDIBox root is also that low C. So it plays that groove now on that low note, changes to be mono latch and boom. There. Now I have low C to start and stop. I can go anywhere else I want. have to do is go over here and say duplicate. No, let's do it this way. This could even be playing. Let's say I want to have redhead. Oh, I just loaded as a layer. That's the wrong thing I wanted to do. There. Okay, so this is to here. Open this up. MIDIBox, the root to here. Turn this into a latch. Let's say we want to add something else to this. Or I could say, I want to get rid of the piano part. All real time while it's playing. I can go, I want to go over here. Oh, shoot, I pushed the wrong button. But it's super easy to build up with UNIFY. So, all right, any questions? The fun of this kind of stuff, I'm thinking flow to make sure that there's flow. There's certain things that we need to improve over time on the interface, but the functionality and the ability is there. It's just super exciting, super exciting. So I suggest seeking help from a sighted person. Yes. I'm keeping my eyes on AAX compatibility. I will tell you that's a hard one. We'll look at that. We've had to choose between stopping everything because it's just Shane and myself to look at plugin compatibility for AAX, which there are a lot of you guys asking for that. And so that's a priority for sure. But we wanted to get this out, to get this to with this being at this point, I can create all sorts of libraries and make them super fun. All sorts of cool stuff can happen with MIDIBox, Polybox, Jitterbox. We have this little power trinity that can do some really cool things together. So let me just give you one quick example of that. Let's go. Actually, probably the drum kit is easier. So let's go Cloud City. And then we'll say Sayonara. Don't forget, there's a sale at my site. It's a multi-buy sale. I don't have the brochure thingy up on the page yet, but if you buy one library, it's 20% off. Put 2 libraries in your cart, it's 30% off. 3 libraries in your cart is 40% off. 4 libraries or more, and it's 50% off everything in your cart, bundles included, which I don't do very often. So those of you that want to save some money, that is a opportunity you should not pass up. So let's go over here to the drum kits, which is up here. This is the fun stuff. When you get to like hip skip, let's just call up the MIDI file it's playing. And then duplicate this. And let's have this one where we turn, we don't have, let's turn that off and transpose this up in pitch. Like it's there, but you don't hear it, right? So let's go over here, let's add Jitterbox. To start with, just doing this gives you sloppy groove. And what it's doing is this is a random time range. We can't go before 0 because we can't anticipate what you're going to play before you play it, right? But this will give you random where every note event that comes in is delayed by up to this value. So if I set this at 150%, now the notes are random between 0 and 150 milliseconds. You set it in here. Now we have some cool things in MIDIBox now. If I didn't want to play the kick drum, I could move the bottom up. Now I've gotten rid of the kick drum. Put the kick drum back in. And instead of 150 milliseconds, you go here and now you have timing values. So we can say eighth notes. Right? And then if we want, we can turn on pitch. And every note it plays is random. And you could limit the range. So if you want to just be, the range of this drum kit is C1 to C6. So this way we'll only look for C1 to C6. And also, it will only transpose things to a range of C1 to C6. So it won't play stuff that's outside of this range. So I say it's like this. So just like that, I have cool, but the timing is predictable and always an eighth note, right? That's why we still have sliders here though, because we can go all the way to the earliest of times to 100%. I have to clarify with Shane one of these days. So I'll talk to him. What eighth note plus 100%, I guess would be a quarter note. And you can have it like this where it's truly random, or you can go right here. And I love this the most because you can say just simple note times, and then we have it set to a minimum so it won't go to 32nd or 64th notes. So it's just eighth notes. Actually, if say like, yeah, let's say eighth notes. So it's just eighth notes and 16th notes. And if I turn this off, now it's random timing of the same notes. So you could do things like go down here, choose a different drum kit. Let's go to, there's a whole bunch of kits. And then you turn on random. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's really cool to get random insanity happening. And if you want to go down to the 64th notes, you can. And if you want it to be like dotted only, so you could say just dotted only. And only up to dotted eighth note. I got a cool skip feel. And if you bring these in just a little bit like this, you give it some randomness to the actual timings. So it's in time, but it's also randomizing time a little bit. So all sorts of insane fun stuff can be done, yeah? Okay. So, thank you for joining. I hope you have enjoyed this hang. We'll see you next Saturday. We do this every Saturday. And next Saturday, I have my fingers crossed. There might be some good news. So we'll see how things go this week. Yeah, every time it's 90 minutes. So we're 7 minutes over, which is okay. I love a little extra time. Now, again, it's a MIDI file transposing, so I can play drums. You interact with these. So on top of all the filtering, it's all there to play with. It's so fun. Now, we're going to add, now that we have them, I'm going to check this out. So we can go to that drum groove. Let's say just to the one that's doing weird stuff, right? I don't want to mess up too much the other one. But I'm going to go to speed multiplier and have it between, is it 0? Let's see what we get. We're putting just the speed multiplier, it's called speed, on just this second layer's. So you're just playing along. Let's see here. It's at 0%. Let's do this. Let's say the minimum is going to be, so if you click this, you can now double click here and say 100%. So now at minimum, it's playing just normal. Now speed it up. And we're not crashing. Yay! And what's cool with this is, check this out. It's playing super fast, 500%. When I slow this down to 100%, it's immediately locked back in to groove. It's not freaked out, it's not lost. You can go weird. And it's back locked. It's always locked the second you hit it back to 100%. It knows where it's supposed to be. That's one of the coolest things to me with MIDI boxes. You can freak it out. We could go over here to the time division multiplier. Let's go here to the MIDI effect for the main groove. And let's say we want to take the numerator and let's have it so we can crank this. This is going to make it super fast to like machine guns. So we'll say clock division. Back in time. Watch this. You want to see something funny? So here's MIDIBox sweating. So you could have it so you turn that on and at the same time turn on jitterbox, transpose. We also have controls so that if we want, we can transpose. I could go to here and I could say into MIDIBox key transpose. Are you ready? So now, let's see, is this doing what I expect? Oh, I probably don't have transpose turned on. So this, oh, that's turning on transpose. Let's see. So no, we wouldn't want to do it that way. We'd want it to be the root. So let's look at this and check this out. I'm going to show you a cool thing. This is the case with all the parameters inside of UNIFY that it's assigned to. Let's see what it's called. Where is root? Maybe root's not here. Track number, keynote. Maybe it's called keynote. So double click here. Key. Oh, nope, that's not it. There's a space. Nope. Okay. I don't have it named right. So go MIDIBox, MIDI effect, and key. Oh, it's a small cap in. Silly. So yeah. So now it's transposing and changing pitch. So you'll be able to get all sorts of crazy timing insanity happening with these tools. And they're real time and they snap back to clock when you set them back to the values that they're supposed to be at. So a good day is coming, my friends. We are right around the corner. I am satisfied with the parameters. I'm not going to ask Shane. You wouldn't believe how many meetings we have where I come up with an idea. It's like, I want to do this. And we talk about it and it's like, okay, let's do it. We've got to put that in. So we have done that enough. I'm thrilled with where we are. And you guys are going to love this too. There's so much fun stuff. Hopefully you guys are excited. So thank you for watching. Yeah, the nice thing with this is while it's doing this stuff, your CPU's not totally freaking out. I mean, I'm playing super numbers of notes. And the CPU's just like, really? Okay. And it's locked. It's not like, oh, wait, let me catch up. You know, where am I at? And then on top of this, I could go over here standard, go to the BPM drum. Let's say we want to add Jakarta breakdown, hold down shift and click. And I want to add Merc. So, drums are about to get a really fun little injected boost by what we can do here. D. Johnson, thank you, brother. Hey, so, shout-outs. Let's do a shout-outs from wherever in the world you are. There's lots of you guys watching. That's so cool. Shout-out from PDX. A friend of mine has a birthday. We're going to go to a little cupcake place and raise our cupcakes in the air. And to being close to being released, I have a little champagne. So, celebration to all. Cheers. What a fun stream. Cape Town, South Africa. Right on, Michael. Good to see you. Shout out from Austin. Right on, Robin. Denmark. Steve, my brother. Here in Oregon. We're Oregon brothers. Right on. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Shout out from Washington, D.C. Oh, man. I was born in Washington, D.C. I haven't been back. My dad worked in the White House. There's a whole bunch of stories there, but I haven't been back since I was 6 months old. Bavaria, Germany, Chicago. Hey, Mike in Australia. Good to see you all. Shout out from Suffolk, UK. Right on, Art. Tom. We have more than one Tom in the house. Nice. Shout out from Arizona from Michael. I know Sunny's in there somewhere. Awesome stream. Cannot wait. Yeah, no, I can't wait to get this together. We've had you guys on hold for a bit, and I'm sorry, but we really wanted to add... I wanted this to be like a huge piece of red meat for you guys and for the whole community. We need to like get people to pay attention to us. And the way to do that is to bring out things like this where you can do this instantly in seconds and then jam with it. I mean, doing this is just so fun. Do this in real time is just nuts. Okay, I'm out of here. Yeah, DJs are going to have a heart attack. This is like organized. I wanted organized chaos. That's the best way to put it. Isabella, right on. Just... to have this kind of this flexibility that's just really fun. So, mad shout out to Shane. Shane. Shout out to Shane. Mad, insane. Shout out to brother Shane. This is his baby, guys. He's the one writing the code to do this. I'm the one saying, not quite right. Or that's right. That's incredible. We bounce off each other to make what we have. But he's the one that writes the code you see in front of you. So Shane, dude, you see it in action. Can you see it? I mean... insane. So shout out. All right. You guys are all my brothers. This is Guru Nation. I love all of you. Be safe. Wear a mask. There's these rumors going around that masks don't make a difference. They do. They deflect so that you're not a cannon of stuff flying out. So please be safe. Wear a mask wherever you go. Don't risk anybody else and don't get it yourself. All right. Love to you all. We will see you next week. And thanks for watching. This was a fun one. I was like, oh my gosh, there's an awful lot to show this week. Am I going to be able to get through all this? I think we did all right. So, cool. Okay. Well, be well, and we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.